Hi there, it's Debbie from celestialastrologyhealing.co.uk, and today I'd like to say happy new moon in Gemini, which is forthcoming on the 18th of June at 5:37 a.m., I believe. Let me just try and share the screen with you just now. So here you can see the chart of the new moon in Gemini at 5:37. That's British summertime in the UK, where I am in Scotland, on the 18th of June. So this is coming up this weekend on Sunday. So when the moon is new, there's this opportunity to bring together some new intentions, plant new seeds of new beginnings, because Gemini is an air sign ruled by Mercury, which is also co-present in Gemini. I'm just trying to get my annotate tool up here. Here we go, just so I can circle where these planets are. So here we have the sun at 26 degrees 43 minutes in Gemini. Here's the symbol of Gemini here. It looks like columns of a temple, and the moon at 26 degrees Gemini 43 minutes. And Mercury has recently gone direct and is also in Gemini. And Gemini is one of the temples or houses that Gemini rules. And when we think about Mercury, Mercury is all about communications. It's about travel. It's about sharing ideas. It's about moving forward. It's about interacting with others. There's a bit of a trickster energy when Mercury is in Gemini, because Gemini is the twins and there's always the two sides. So there's a sort of mischievous quality sometimes around Mercury in Gemini, and generally Gemini in just generally Gemini, really. So there is the potential to have a really great light-hearted time during this Gemini new moon, and then bringing to fruition either over the next 2 weeks as the moon moves around to become full, or waiting for the full moon in Gemini, which will be at the time of the Sagittarius sun, the season of winter. We're right in the middle of summer here, and we're just about to go into the summer solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere. But so that this time of the Gemini new moon, think about sharing ideas with others, planting seeds, doing things in a positive, light-hearted way of fun and frivolity, but also bearing in mind that because Gemini rules the nervous system, there can be maybe too many things floating around in the head, spinning too many plates, and that can lead to a bit of nervous tension or sort of overload mentally. Anyway, at the same time as this new moon, we also have Saturn about here at 7 degrees Pisces, 12 minutes, but that S there means stationing. So Saturn has recently ingressed into Pisces, where Saturn will stay for the next 2.5 years. Moved in, I believe, on the 7th of March, if my memory is correct. I'm not great with dates and memory. I'm just doing this off the cuff, really, because I'm running late and have a very busy schedule over the next few days, so I won't be able to do the video then. So yeah, Saturn is station direct and will be moving retrograde, going back to the beginning degrees of Pisces here. So this is quite a significant thing to go back and review and solidify and go through some sense of structure, rethinking the boundaries, the responsibilities, depending on where this Piscean house is in your own personal natal chart. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate a like or a subscribe. That would be great, which will help my channel grow. I'm very new at doing this relatively, and I really feel like, for me, this new moon in Gemini should be actually planting seeds of putting more time aside to do these videos, so I can offer more out there, because I tend to do them very last minute, and I only tend to do new and full moons, and I know that I would enjoy doing more and have more confidence. So for me, using the mind, which is very Gemini, and this new moon, I think this is going to be my intention. So watch this space to see if I do actually produce more videos to share with you and share my astrological knowledge. I was into modern astrology for decades, and I used to hand erect charts before computers back in the day. I know that this is quite a new topic for astrologers that have been born with the computer age, where you can get free data and type in the details. So I used to hand erect charts using the maths and yeah, all of that stuff to get the ascendant and midheaven and all those things. And generally, I think I did an accurate job. I think there was only one or two that when I looked at online ephemeris that I made one mistake with one of my children, but quickly rectified that. All the other planets were in the right houses, so it was just the ascendant. But yeah, so for me, that's going to be one of my intentions, I think, at this new moon in Gemini. But thinking about Saturn there, Saturn at 7 degrees is making... is Saturn making an aspect that there is Jupiter and Saturn, yeah, in a sextile aspect here. They're in about a degree orb, but then because Saturn will be moving retrograde, there'll be an exact conjunct, degree-based aspect of a sextile, which brings in the togetherness of the two different energies of Saturn, who is like the strict authoritarian, the old man of the zodiac, Kronos, lord of time, the most distant planet, with Jupiter, the most expansive. Somebody described him as the happy, generous uncle. So there's these two sort of dynamic energies in a sextile aspect, which is of the nature of Venus. So flowing in harmony, coming in that house of Pisces to the house of Taurus, where Jupiter has recently moved in and will be there for the next year, co-present with the north node of the moon, Rahu and Uranus. So there's this lovely aspect there. And I believe later in the month, there will be other outer planets going retrograde. So let me just bring up the live clock and see what I can share there and see when these outer planets also move retrograde. So here we go. Here is the first planet that's moved retrograde. If I can just bring up the annotate tool again. So Pluto has dipped his toe. That's definitely not the symbol that I want to use. I want an arrow. This is one of my challenging things. It still is. Okay, here we go. His Pluto dipped his toe into Aquarius, and Pluto will take about 20 years to move through Aquarius, but he's going to and fro to the late degrees of Capricorn at the moment, moved into Aquarius, I think it was the 23rd of March, 2023. And if we annotate this backwards, or forwards rather, one day, let me go, I have to stop that. And then maybe stop that and then go. If you just watch here, whereas Pluto 0 degrees, Aquarius 0 minutes, retrograde, the RX there. And then if we go forward, I'm just trying to get this to work. I've got to take that off completely, FC. Okay, so here we go. So on the 12th of June, Pluto has retrograded back into Capricorn, where he's going to be staying, I think, until January the 20th, 2024. So whatever this Capricorn house is in your natal chart, this is a potential for Pluto to use his power, his energy, his dynamism, he's Hades, god of the underworld, to tie up ends in this Capricorn house for you. So it can be about endings, the death of old ways, transformation, regeneration, and new birth and rebirth, and new beginnings. So Pluto will be dipping his toe back and forth until November 2024, when he will stay in the sign of Aquarius. But just now, if you don't know your ascendant, there's some I can put a link below, and it's on my videos and blogs on my website, how to cast your own natal chart using astro.com. You need your name, date, place, and crucially time of birth to get the ascendant. And then I use whole sign house system, which you can see up here. And then that would create the first house cusp. No matter what the degree of your ascendant, that creates the cusp of the first house for you, which is related to you, the helm of the ship, your views in life, how you come across to people. Second house is about your possessions, your feelings, your skills, your resources to make money and security. Third house is your local neighborhood. If you have siblings, aunts and uncles, communications, web stuff, online presence, short journeys. Fourth house, home, family, roots, your ancestry. quite often the parents, and where you feel you belong in the world, more hidden away there. Fifth house is Venus's joy. This is related to your pleasures in life, your fun, your creativity, recreations, love, romance, also to do with pregnancy and children. Sixth house is Mars's joy, which is about everyday routines, work, duties to others, service, servitude, sacrifice, those sort of things, and also related to your health. And it's also the house of pets. So those are the 6 houses which are personal to you. And then when we go across the dynamic, it's about shared experience. 7th house, opposite the 1st house of self, is about relationships with others. 2nd house, opposite the 8th. The 8th house is about shared resources, money from others, inheritances, also anxieties and fears. It's the house of, it's a deep house of mystery and related to the occult, but it can be about money that comes from others and karmic debt, things like that. 3rd house, opposite the 9th house. The 3rd house was actually the house of the moon, so it's related to hermetic things, mysteries, and women. And then the 9th house is the house of God, and it's more about the higher mind rather than the immediate lower mind. It's the higher mind. It's education, it's spirituality, religion, pilgrimage, further studies. Also the house of courts and laws, the 9th house. Opposite the 4th house, we've got the 10th house, which is the house of where you're seen publicly in the world. The 10th house is quite often, if you have a career, it's your work life that you're seen to do in the public eye and your public status. If you are a mother, then that's what you're seen to do in life, and that's a really important job as well. If you don't have a physical job, I think being a mother is one of the hardest jobs. But yeah, there's the 10th house up there, your social status, your reputation. Opposite the 5th house, Venus's joy, we've got Jupiter's joy. This is a house of hopes and wishes, groups, community, friends and allies, also money that you can make from your career. And then opposite the 6th house of Mars's joy, we have Saturn's joy. It's a reclusive house, it's a seclusion, it's isolation, it's places that are hidden away from the public eye. Such as institutions, libraries, hospices, retreat centres, ashrams. Also, it can be a place of self-undoing, like a blind spot here, where we can beat ourselves up. It's the house of privacy. If you have planets in the 12th house, you know, there's often things that you have to work through on a deeper level. So these are the sort of things, when you have your natal chart done, that you can really learn about yourself, and then work with the energies. The planets were seen as gods and goddesses that bestowed their gifts upon you in life, and where challenges were seen by the malefic planets. Let me point out the malefic planets. The malefic planets, if you're born in the daytime, the malefic planet would be Mars, and also Venus belongs to the nighttime sect as well. So Venus, Mars, and the moon are related to the nighttime sect. And wherever Mars is in your chart, if you're born in the daytime, that's going to be the house and the area of life that has most challenge for you. If you were born at night, then the malefic planet Saturn, he's a greater malefic. He would be causing more problems or challenges in this lifetime. Challenges, difficulties, things that enhance us to grow as human beings. There's no point just having good experiences, because then we can't develop those inner potential parts of our inner selves. It's through these challenging times, the harder times, that we can find those resources, tap into what we didn't know was there for strength, wisdom, and coping as we become older and become elders in our community. So that would be Saturn. And in the daytime chart, Jupiter would be the greater benefic planet, the one that looks like a 4. So that would be enhancing your life's gifts, dependent on the aspects and which sign Jupiter's in. And if you were born at night, then Venus would be the lesser malefic, but also bringing positivity and gifts to you. So I really love doing natal charts. And then when we do the natal chart, we look at the natal promise, what you're born with, which never changes, but which can be activated by the planets in the heavens, which we would then put a bi-wheel around the outside here. But anyway, I digress. I've gone off course there. That will be the stimulation, I think, of all the Mercury in the Gemini, which is about the mind and chatting and stuff. So back to the real-time clock. So that was Pluto going retrograde. We're on the 15th here. What else is going to be going retrograde? Let me annotate this. Oh, that's very fast. My brain can't actually go that fast. So yeah, we can see that Pluto is retrograde here in 29 degrees. Saturn is retrograded how long ago? On the same day as the new moon. That will be the 18th of June, I believe. Yeah, it's stationed here and then goes retrograde. And let's look out for Uranus. Uranus looks like Uranus doesn't have a station S next to it, and also Neptune there. So let's have a look for these. The North Node often is retrograde, so we ignore that. And the South Node. All right, here we go. I've missed the Gemini, the Mercury. So Mercury stations retrograde on the 1st of July, 2023. So then if I go another day, 27 degrees, 41 Pisces, been in Pisces for such a long time. And then, yeah, the 2nd of July, you can see the retrograde there. So Mercury will be going retrograde. So there is significance when planets go retrograde over the feeling for the general energies around society, a time of reflection. And these outer planets move very slowly, so they affect everybody for longer periods of time until they station and go direct. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Uranus here on the 29th of August. Let me point it out with the arrow. You can see 23 degrees, 4 minutes. That's Uranus in the house of Taurus, co-present with Jupiter. So Uranus has been in this house, I think, since 2018. So the energies of Uranus can be quite destabilizing. And in Taurus, it can affect the earth, things like that, routines and things as well. So Uranus will be going retrograde there on the 29th of August. So just some general cosmic weather there for you to sort of see. But thinking about the new moon, just have... take some time out for yourself to think about what you'd like to plant seeds for in the next 2 weeks or the next 6 months of the year. Enjoy the light-hearted energies of the Mercurial ruled sun and moon in Gemini. And I wish you blessings for the future. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.